Hello people of YouTube, Mishka Valhalla here, with my puppy again. Who's rolling in something, hopefully not dead. Probably. Let's go, pup. So today, I wanted to talk about the Rune Kenaz. And that's a rune that's been very much on my mind as of late. It's a very inspirational rune, a very fiery rune. And the element of fire alone carries wisdom. And Kenaz makes a k sound. So that would basically be its, alphabetical, well, technically it's not an alphabet, if I'm speaking in technical terms. Technically the Elder Futhark is a writing system, but it has deeper meanings. It's essentially the fact that they are magical symbols and sigils, per se, that have sort of an essence and existence of their own. But yeah, the Rune Kenaz is kind of like that light bulb that appears above your head when you have an idea. It's like that fire in your brain when you feel inspired, when you feel like you've learned something important, something meaningful. And that rune heavily connects to Odin in a way, but in the sense that it connects to his Othr, his rage, his ecstasy. Essentially in the myths, what he dropped by accident when he was carrying and stealing the meat of poetry from the the Jotun, Sutton. He stole the meat of inspiration. My voice is just like total trash today. When he was stealing the meat of inspiration, Odin accidentally dropped bits of the meat of inspiration onto humanity. And essentially that's how humanity learned poetry, learns how to tap into the inner mysteries in a way, the poetic mysteries of literature. Obviously beyond, what, general folk traditions are, getting in touch with nature, in a way Odin represented as sort of a god of language, a god of speech. And that can be expressed both through poetry and music. And poetry and music is both different types of art forms, technically speaking. So, in a way, Odin is a god of the arts. And Kenaz in particular should be a very artistic rune, especially since it's solely based in inspiration. And for an artist, or a scholar, or even a scientist to even come close to discovering something important for themselves or for the world around them, they must be inspired. Their fire must be ignited some way or somehow. And for that idea to keep burning, you must keep giving the fire kindling. You must keep feeding the fire so that you are constantly inspired. And obviously that does get a bit deeper than the type of stuff, I'll talk about in this video. But, the Rune Kenaz in a reading, will be a good sign if it's right side up. That will obviously tell that, there's going to be a lot of inspiration coming ahead. Your fire will be ignited. It really seems like the Norse gods in particular are very focused on the idea of inspiration. Like to the Greeks, you have the god Dionysus, or, the Roman Bacchus. But more particularly Greek Dionysus, because there is a difference, even though that they have, similar traits, there is a difference in culture, technically, when it comes to the Greeks and the Romans. So what I'm technically saying is that Dionysus in particular, is represented as a very existential deity, focused on dance, self-expression, just going into pure mania, pure inspirational rage. And, that's exactly the type of thing that the Rune Kenaz represents, especially speaking through a Norse context. The skalds, the poets, they were in charge of all the stories. So in a way, all the best stories we have are literally poetry. So the way the what you would call a Norse soothsayer or shaman or spiritual leader per se, they would technically have an understanding of these things. They would be able to memorize poems and mythological stories that are passed down through thousands of years. Obviously they are changed over time, especially due to language and cultural shifts. Because I know for the Norse people in particular, They started out as a very earth-based matriarchal tradition, just like many parts of Europe. But then, of course, they molded with the more patriarchal steppe warriors from Indo-European tribes. You know, they mixed together more sky-based traditions with the more earth-based traditions. So obviously, you know, you have kind of a mold when it comes to Norse spirituality, and a balance. You know, an acceptance of the deep unknown of the earth, and of course, the endless possibilities of the heavens. In the story of Freya and Othr, Othr being the husband of Freya, Othr essentially means ecstasy. You know, many people talk about him as a separate god, but in my opinion, he's in a way an extension of Odin, but perhaps he's not. Perhaps Othr is just, in a sense, ecstasy itself, the personification of ecstasy, and that's what Freya chases. That's what Freya cares for, you know, so deeply. And when she essentially betrayed her husband, who was ecstasy, you know, ecstasy left her. You know, he ran away, he wandered off. But then again, wandering does point out to Odin. But Odin's name means of ecstasy. So in a way, Odin could be a part of that god, or that god himself. You know, Odin has known to wear many masks. You know, Grimnir, the masked one. That could be a terrible translation, but loosely, you know, he is known as the god of, you know, the masked, or he is known as the wolf god, the raven god, the god of the hanged. You know, there's all sorts of different names that Odin is called by. If we were going to compare the moral of the story of Freya chasing ecstasy, essentially it's, you know, the idea that we must all be searching for ecstasy. We must all be searching to be inspired in this world, to seek a deeper poetic knowledge of the unknown. The quest for knowledge is, in a sense, understanding the poetic ecstasy and wandering and exploring the unknown, therefore achieving Othr, to become Odin, to achieve ecstasy itself. If Kenaz is reversed in a reading, it means, well, your fire's burnt out, you're having writer's block, you're having trouble, you know, being inspired overall, and you'll need to rethink and look within and re-explore the things that make you feel inspired, the things that make you happy. Everybody has something that inspires them. I mean, they have to, otherwise they're just a blank slate, they're a robot. Everybody has something that inspires them, and that's what you should focus on when looking into the Rune Kenaz. The Rune of Fire, the Rune of Inspiration. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I can touch up later on for certain runes if you so request. But if not, hail and thank you so much. Good luck out there. Stay safe. Please like and subscribe. Peace out.